Ip Man, the quiet force, behind Bruce Lee and many others. Ip Man, a name revered in martial arts circles, was not just a master of Wing Chun, but also a quiet force who shaped the future of martial arts. Born in 1893 in Foshan, China, he dedicated his life to refining and spreading the art of Wing Chun, a close combat style emphasizing efficiency, speed, and precision. Though he lived through turbulent times, wars, political upheavals, and personal struggles, Ip Man remained committed to his art. He fled to Hong Kong in the 1940s, where he began teaching openly. It was here that he met a young Bruce Lee, a student who would later revolutionize martial arts on the global stage. Ip Man's teachings formed the foundation of Bruce Lee's philosophy and fighting style, influencing Jeet Kune Do, a martial arts approach that emphasized adaptability and directness. But Bruce Lee was not the only one shaped by Ip Man. Many of his students became renowned martial artists, passing down Wing Chun across generations. Despite his immense influence, Ip Man remained humble and devoted to the art rather than fame. His legacy endures not just through his students, but also through popular films that have introduced his story to new audiences. Ip Man's impact on martial arts is immeasurable. He was not just a teacher, but a guiding force, proving that true strength lies in discipline, wisdom, and humility. Ip Man, the quiet force behind Bruce Lee and many others. In the world of martial arts, few names command as much respect as Ip Man. Though he never sought fame or recognition, his influence on modern martial arts is undeniable. A grandmaster of Wing Chun, Ip Man played a pivotal role in preserving and spreading this unique martial art. His teachings not only shaped the skills of many students, but also laid the foundation for one of the greatest martial artists of all time, Bruce Lee. The early years, a boy with a passion for martial arts born. In 1893 in Foshan, China, Ip Man grew up in a wealthy family that valued education and discipline. At a young age, he developed an interest in martial arts and began studying Wing Chun under Chan Washun, an esteemed master of the style. Even after Chan's passing, Ip Man continued his training with his master's senior student, Ng Chung Sok. As a young man, Ip Man traveled to Hong Kong to pursue his studies. It was here that he encountered another Wing Chun master, Lung Bik, the son of the legendary Lung Jan. Under Lung Bik's guidance, Ip Man refined his techniques and deepened his understanding of Wing Chun's principles. However, at that time, martial arts were not yet his primary focus. He returned to Foshan and joined the police force, using his skills only when necessary. War, hardship, and a new beginning in Hong Kong. The outbreak of the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937 changed Ip Man's life dramatically. During the Japanese occupation, he suffered great hardships, and after the war, the political climate in China became increasingly unstable. As a member of the upper class, he faced persecution under the communist regime, which led him to flee to Hong Kong in 1949. Arriving in Hong Kong with little more than his martial arts knowledge, Ip Man struggled at first. But in 1950, he began teaching Wing Chun publicly, which marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life. Though his early days as an instructor were difficult, with only a few students, his reputation grew, attracting more and more disciples. Bruce Lee and the globalization of Wing Chun. One of the most famous students to walk through Ip Man's school was a teenage Bruce Lee. At the time, Bruce was a rebellious and energetic young man, eager to prove himself. Under Ip Man's guidance, he learned the fundamentals of Wing Chun, particularly the importance of efficiency adaptability, and controlled aggression. Though Bruce later developed his own martial arts philosophy, Jeet Kune Do, he always credited Ip Man as one of his greatest influences. Ip Man's impact, however, extended beyond Bruce Lee. Many of his students went on to become renowned martial artists and teachers, spreading Wing Chun across the world. His teachings helped shape a new generation of martial artists, many of whom carried his legacy into the modern era. A quiet force, a lasting legacy. Despite his growing reputation, Ip Man remained a humble and disciplined teacher. He never sought personal glory or wealth from his martial arts. Even in his later years, suffering from illness, he continued to practice and teach, ensuring that Wing Chun would not be lost with time. Ip Man passed away in 1972, but his legacy endures. His life and teachings have been immortalized in books, documentaries, and a series of blockbuster films that introduced his story to audiences worldwide. Today, Wing Chun is practiced across the globe, a testament to the quiet force of a man who devoted his life to his art. Though he may not have sought recognition, Ip Man's impact on martial art Chun from a regional fighting style into a globally respected martial art. His life serves as a powerful reminder that true mastery is not about power or fame, but about discipline, wisdom, and the ability to inspire others. Ip Man, the quiet force behind Bruce Lee and many others. In the vast world of martial arts, there are legends whose names echo through time. Some are known for their ferocity in battle, others for their innovation and skill. Yet, among these giants, few have had as profound and far-reaching an influence as Grandmaster Ip Man. Though he never sought fame or recognition, his dedication to Wing Chun, his teaching methods, and his impact on future generations, including his most famous student Bruce Lee, helped shape the course of modern martial arts. This is the story of a man who, through humility and discipline, became one of the most respected martial artists in history. A quiet force, who despite the storms of war, hardship, and personal struggles, remained steadfast in his devotion to the art of Wing Chun, passing it on to students who would carry it across the world. The early years, a humble beginning. Ip Man was born in 1893 in Foshan, a city in Guangdong Province, China. Unlike many martial artists who grew up in poverty, he came from a wealthy and educated family. This gave him the rare privilege of both academic learning and the opportunity to study martial arts from a young age. At just 7 years old, he began training in Wing Chun under the legendary Chan Shun, a master of the art. Wing Chun, a martial art designed for close-range combat, emphasized speed, efficiency, and precision over brute strength. Even in his early years, Ip Man displayed remarkable skill and a deep understanding of the art's core principles. After Chan Shun's death, Ip Man continued his training under Chan's senior disciple, Chung Sok. As a teenager, Ip Man moved to Hong Kong for his studies. It was here that he encountered Lung Bik and the son of another great Wing Chun master, Lung Jan. Lung Bik refined Ip Man's techniques, introducing him to a deeper, more advanced understanding of Wing Chun. These experiences shaped him into a formidable martial artist, but at this stage, martial arts remained more of a passion than a profession. War, persecution, and exile. Upon returning to Foshan, Ip Man briefly joined the police force, using his martial skills only when necessary. He continued practicing Wing Chun, but his life took a dramatic turn with the outbreak of the Second Sino-Japanese War in 1937. During the Japanese occupation of China, many martial artists suffered greatly, and Ip Man was no exception. He refused to collaborate with the Japanese forces, which led to extreme hardship and poverty. After the war, the political landscape of China shifted once again with the rise of communism. As someone from a wealthy background and with ties to the nationalist government, Ip Man became a target of persecution. In 1949, faced with increasing political pressure and the threat of further hardship, he fled to British-controlled Hong Kong. He arrived with little more than his martial arts knowledge and an unshakable determination to rebuild his life. Teaching Wing Chun, a new beginning, in Hong Kong. It was in Hong Kong that Ip Man's influence truly began to take shape. Though he initially struggled to attract students, his reputation as a skilled martial artist eventually spread. By the early 1950s, he had opened his own school and began formally teaching Wing Chun to a new generation. Unlike other martial arts that emphasized formality and tradition, Wing Chun's practicality and efficiency made it highly effective for real-world combat. Ip Man's school soon became a hub for aspiring fighters, and over time, his students would go on to achieve great success in martial arts and cinema. Bruce Lee, the student who changed the world. Among Ip Man's many students, none would have a greater impact on the global martial arts scene than Bruce Lee. When Bruce first joined Ip Man's school as a teenager, he was an energetic and talented but undisciplined fighter. Under Ip Man's guidance, Bruce learned the principles of Wing Chun, including its emphasis on direct, no-nonsense combat techniques. Though Bruce later developed his own martial arts philosophy, Jeet Kune Do, he never forgot the foundational lessons he learned from Ip Man. Bruce Lee's global fame helped bring Wing Chun into the mainstream, and in doing so, he ensured that his master's teachings would reach millions. Ip Man and Bruce Lee's relationship was one of mutual respect, though they were quite different in personality. Ip Man remained reserved and humble, focused on his art rather than personal fame. Bruce, on the other hand, was a trailblazer who sought to revolutionize martial arts. Yet, despite their differences, Bruce always acknowledged Ip Man as a key figure in his development. Ip Man's last years an enduring legacy. Even as he aged, Ip Man